Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Black Girl Flow podcast. We are so happy to have you guys join us on another episode. Quick check-in. How are my Virgos in the building doing right now? Are we messing with Virgo season? Do we not like Virgo season? Let me know. Y'all already know I'm like the fake astrologer of this podcast.
I have a legit question.
What's up? Ask me.
Do you ever think we're gonna get out of zodiac signs? Like, the world continues to just be shambling regardless of what new moon, what retrograde, what season. Are we just is it gonna fade out? Are we committed? We're committed to this lifestyle.
I feel like the world could be on fire. There could be a zombie apocalypse. And in order to get into medical centers, in order to get help for zombie bites, you're going to have to list your zodiac sign as well.
You think it's going to be something that we're surveying?
I think it's going to end up dividing humanity as a total.
All right, y'all.
And
all right.
I think, okay, listen, I think that we're only going to get deeper into zodiac signs. But I think,
really?
I
so this
hope,
is only the tip of the iceberg.
I really, really hope that people actually start doing their research when it comes to astrology. It pisses me off.
Girl,
listen,
y'all.
let me just explain one of my grievances, because literally I was at brunch yesterday, solo little brunch date, by the way, and behind me, these three girls sit behind me and they start talking about zodiac signs. They're like, oh wait, what's your sign again? And the girl's like, Aries. And the other girl's like, that's a very airy sign. And I'm like, is she hinting at the idea that Aries is a air sign? What's going on? And I wanted to interrupt so bad. She was just like, yeah, they're just straight shooters. And yeah, and it was just such a general statement that I'm like, I can imagine
her just shaking with her chai latte, just
literally
ready to.
I just wanted to save the conversation so bad, but I was like, these are not my monkeys. This is not my circus. Isn't that the saying? I was so cute. I am not doing the runaround with y'all. So I just hope all the Virgos are doing well. I hope all of the zodiac signs are doing well. I know Leos are still probably celebrating Leo season. Shout out to y'all, but It is Virgo season. So let's just slowly get that through our heads.
Let them know. Okay, well, I like your hypothesis. We'll keep it updated.
Absolutely. And as I've always said, I celebrate a lot of my friends during this season of life. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited about just moving the body more. So latest movement journey update, y'all. I've been trying to do hot yoga, which has been super.
You have done it.
I have done it. I know. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, I have been doing hot yoga, and it's been super fun. Just meeting.
What kind of music
people.
do they play? Is it trap yoga?
I can't really explain it. It's not EDM, but it's vibey music.
It's vibe. Oh, this feels like your vibe.
What's it called? Is it lo-fi?
Lo-fi.
Mm-hmm. It's lo-fi music. Mm-hmm. And they give you eucalyptus towel at the end, and it feels so good and it smells so good. And I'm like, not me being a hot yoga girl. So that's the cool. That's my life update. And then I'm also just trying to get through the stack of books that I've had at my bedside.
You might have to share your book list with the girlies.
I would absolutely love to do that with y'all.
Yeah, because she's got all the good. Between the two of us, we cover all fiction and nonfiction categories.
It's great. Well. It's great. I'm loving it. How are you feeling?
Good stuff, just moving and shaking.
Yep.
I feel like I do this every time. Y'all, this podcast has turned into my accountability buddy, because Liv says that I talk like this and I'm like, no, I don't.
Just
but
grooving
then when
and shake.
I literally have to go and edit our stuff back, I'm like, I say the same 5 things.
Yeah.
It's so me, but it's so girl, what?
We love it. We know nothing about what's going on. You and your man just went to the beach. Let's go to the beach.
Let's go get away. Yes, we went to the beach, which was nice to have a little getaway.
Yeah.
And then I have a lot of travels this month. So I have a work trip. I have my mother's 60th birthday trip.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will just be on the move a lot, which I I don't have a problem with. I'm like a cool, I'm cool with being like home or away. Like that's not stressed out for me or at all.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to like get to enjoy those little things. So just because like since my last trip in Canada, it was just so refreshing that I think like I see these all as like really good opportunities to like get away for a hot second.
We love a getaway moment, and I love that for you. And I'm like, dang, one of these days I'm just gonna show up in your suitcase. You're gonna be like, girl, how did you get here? And I'm gonna be like, what you mean? How did I get here?
For real though, like me and my boyfriend stay taking all the trips, and I'm like, if it wasn't him, she would literally get on this trip so quick. Because we went to Canada, and you were like, damn. And then I asked him, I was like, where do you want to go for his next birthday trip? And he was like, Jamaica. And I was like, we can't go to Jamaica. And he was like, why? And I was like, because Olivia would kill me. I was like, not that you would be mad. Yeah. It's just like, dang. Like
I twitch.
Damn. You know,
yeah,
kind of
each time. That's going to be the new sound effect. Every single time. Yeah, that's how I be feeling. But I'm like, okay, she in love. She having her vacation. I'm gonna let it slide this one time.
No, you know what it is? We just gotta work in our trips, baby girl.
Yeah, when you get your private jet, I'm gonna be the first one.
Nah, that's you, Shotty. That's you.
I'm not doing this with her, y'all, today. But I'm loving the fact that you are having trips planned.
Yeah, it'll be good. And then it'll be smooth sailing, hopefully, to just enjoy all the fall and winter have to offer. But this brings up a good conversation point and leads us into our episode about the idea of taking vacays and being on the, that out of office. We probably kind of came out of our summertime. Hopefully people got their summer trips and stuff. But a lot of conversations I've been having with people recently have been around this idea of burnout and work and like desperately needing a trip, needing some time off, needing a mental health break from like their workload. And a lot of people taking like the first trip that they've taken like in a significant period of time this past summer and into this fall, and really just like hearing some crazy stories of like really mad burnout. And so that we're always about our health and wellness girlies and cultivating a more life and balance and flow and peace. So I feel like we really need to talk about this idea of healing from burnout, because I think more of us are down bad than we even know.
Yeah, I'm Mrs. Burnout. So
you're Mrs. Burnout?
Oh yeah. In the past, I think I really had to, as a Capricorn, if we're going to bring up zodiac signs, I've had to do a lot of intentional healing from burnout. I think naturally
you just go hard.
I just want to overachieve, and I want to be the best at my craft. This never really showed up in like school or anything like that. Like I was cool with, being an A and B student, because that wasn't like ever what I deemed as like extremely important to my intelligence. But when it came to things I do care about and that I did care about, I would go hard. I would go hard until I didn't have anything left in me. And it would end up taking a toll on my physical health, which ended up taking a toll on my mental health, which took a toll on my spiritual health. It was just it was a snowball effect. So I know a lot about it, and I know a lot of how I, have come to heal from that and create more sustainable paces for myself so that I don't get that way.
That's so interesting. I had no idea that you had like done so much self-work and had such a self-awareness around your own relationship with burnout.
Oh yeah.
Because on the flip side, I am like new to this idea, because if anybody knows me, when I was in undergrad and like even a little bit after, I was like the chill master, like literally do the least. Like it was giving that. Like granted, my least was excellent.
Yeah.
But it was really, no, why are we doing the most? You want to be so low key, it's high key. That was always my like motto at the time. And so I really didn't know about this idea of like burnout, but COVID and like moving things to home and a lot of the like blurred lines of our boundaries between work and home and relationships and everything being in one place, I think really got to me, because I got to a point where I had like for the whole first year of 2020, like not taking any days off. And it just kind of didn't make sense to me. I was like, well, why would I take days off if like I'm working from home? And in my job, it's not like preset days off. You have to like accrue your hours and then you take off whatever days you want, and it's not even like, don't like, nobody has to come for my job. Like it's not a bad thing. Like it's not okay. Like it's cool because you get hecka days if you wanted to. But I like worked through the holidays and like worked through because I was like, oh, I'm just like chilling, to the point that it wasn't until I think 2021 that when like COVID first started easing up, my family was like, hey, do you want to go on vacation with us? And I was like iffy about even going because I was like, I hadn't taken time off. My like organization was short staffed. It was like a super busy time. And I just like looked at my boss and I was like, I need to stop. Like I'm like not doing well. Like I could feel my attitude change towards my work and like I think, everything you were saying, like your mental and physical health declined. Like, I was so lethargic. Like I had mad brain fog. Like I didn't even know how to stop. And it wasn't even like, it was a great vacation, but it took me so long to not think about work. Like I was like halfway through the vacation was when I finally was on vacation because I like could not think about it. And I was like, dang, I think I had mad burnout. Yeah.
And I think for me, I think that's such a common thing for one that people experience. But I realized when I had studied abroad that that's just not normal to live our life constantly consumed with work. Yeah. I mean, what is normal? But like it's not a natural thing that other people across, countries across the globe have to battle with. Yeah. Obviously, that comes with battling other things. But when I realized that people, could work to live instead of living to work, that completely changed my mindset and my approach to work. Say a little bit
more about that. What do you mean by that?
I mean, I think that for me, when it came to my productivity and my need to have all of these accolades on my resume, it was more so just because of the clout that came with those. And so when I had my study abroad experience, it was a time for me to figure out what was important to me, what I actually like spending my time doing, what are the types of people that I like to hang out with. And I also noticed that people, at least in Spain where I was at, did not focus on overworking themselves and working late hours, and they took a long lunch break and they had their siesta and they spent so much time with family. Like you saw kids still hanging out with their parents at like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And it was such a foreign concept to me at the time. I was like, wait, what? Like you can live like this and not feel burdened by the amount of work that you have to get done in a 40-hour work week. Like you can take off and have time with your family and even take a call during your work time and not feel guilty about it. It was a mind-opening experience for me. And prior to even going to Spain, I had a really big moment again where I had felt myself deteriorating to the point where, my mom had to come up to Elon to help me and nurse me back to health because my physical health, I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was just doing the most. And so I really can speak to just how it feels to
reach that limit,
and not know what to do afterwards. Although I do think like traveling is a great time, or like having a staycation is a great time to like tap into your mental health and not focus on it. I don't think that's like the cure all. Oh, and I don't think that that's what you were insinuating.
Yeah.
But like I learned
that was just the one thing that broke me out of the cycle. Like that was I had to get like really, really far away to even realize how much I had lost myself in the work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, I've even been in cycles where, okay, I'm going to burn myself out and then I'm going to take a vacation and then I'm going to recharge. I feel recharged. So now I'm ready to go at it again. And I'm not thinking of it in a way of like, oh, I'm about to burn myself out. I'm just like, this is what they say you have to do in order to be successful. Like I'm just doing the things that I need to get done, and if I'm not reaching that goal, then like I need to sacrifice something else, and it's not sustainable, the pace that I've been taking. And I think as creatives we get like in this very manic state of creating, and it feels kind of intense to be like, oh, it's manic, but it literally feels like
this rush
of adrenaline of like, oh my gosh, well, now I have the energy to get out of bed and like pursue everything that I've wanted to do. So I'm going to create a business plan, file for my LLC, do everything in one day so that I can feel like, wow, like I'm actually reaching towards my goals. And then the next week you're like, bro, like, but this is just, why did I push myself that hard? Now I'm not even going to touch it or look at it for the next month because I can't even like stand the idea of having this in my circle and not going hard at it. And it's like, what about the 1% of just being better and doing better and having those mental pulse checks each day?
And it's really interesting because I think this kind of idea of like, how do we remedy or like, how do we bring ourselves back? Because I think what we're talking about is some like extremes of your mom quite literally had to come intervene. Yeah. I quite literally, and people had always been around me saying like, oh my gosh, my parents were always like, Lexi, you work so hard. Like you work so much. You're doing too much, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm chilling. Like, I'm good. Yeah. Like I can withstand it until you reach that. But then it's like, you also have to think about like, we didn't quit our jobs. We didn't quit school. Like we also came back to that. So how do you bounce back after burnout is the other part of the conversation. And I think for me, this is where it starts to get really interesting because there's this much larger conversation going on right now in the socials and on the interwebs. LinkedIn. I was literally about to say, I was like, on the new age Facebook, we call LinkedIn. Also, I have a lot of theories about LinkedIn, about how they play on like some of our like
heartstrings.
Yeah, because like the fact that you can see who views your profile gives very much like Snapchat best friends. You know, like it's just this like privy. Either way,
you're like, don't ask me about my theories.
But like you have to come back and like find your rhythm and rhyme. And there's this narrative now about this idea of like quiet quitting that like our generation just doesn't want to work hard and we're giving up and like we don't want to grind like they grind before and like we should be putting in more hours. And I think that conversation distracts us from really thinking about like how do we properly support our staff in this idea of burnout and help find sustainable paces for the work that do still maximize productivity but not at the detriment of people's mental and physical well-being. And that's something that right now I'm trying to like bring into the conversation because I hear a lot of people being like, they just must be quiet quitting. And it's like, yo, that's like dangerous to just ascribe that somebody's like capacity has been reached, therefore they're just giving up. Like that's not the case. Right.
That's one thing I do love about our generation. We're just like, we're gonna do what feels good to us and we'll figure it out along the way.
And I think the thing I also get annoyed about a little bit is just like, it's not new. It's just not new. Setting boundaries and having a healthy work-life balance is much of what people like and our parents had, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, this is not new that we want this for ourselves. Right. We're just meeting the nature of the times when people think that because you work from home, you aren't being as productive. And it's like, we've proven that time and time again, that's not the case.
I think the pandemic, like 1000% did a doozy on all of us like reevaluated the way that we view work, the way that we view our life, and like what are the things that we want out of life, what are the places that we want to be in. And again, like we've talked about this on the podcast so many times. Sometimes you're just in a busy season of life. Sometimes you're just in a burnout season where you just got to push through when you're going to get burned out and you're just going to like, you know, feel all of the effects of it.
Peel you off the floor.
Yeah. Cause it's like, you got bills to pay. You've got responsibilities to meet. You've got people to provide for. None of that stops. Even if you're burned out, you're like, yo, I've got to continue to do this. But I think one thing that we have always been very vigilant in trying to incorporate into our day-to-day life is still making time to dream and imagine more for ourselves. So like, what does that look like? Striving for a goal of not having to have this system where I'm constantly being burnt out. Cause that's not like a fun way to live. No one likes being burnt out. No one likes feeling like they can't even make time for the people that they love. And I'm someone that like, I'm always going to choose a good time, even though like this might sound whatever, but like I'm always going to choose being with family, being with friends over whatever else I have going on. I think in a healthy way of like, okay, once I've reached this responsibility, then it's okay to like set my laptop aside. And I just think that like we all have to figure out what our core values are, what's important to us, and how can we work towards those so that we can live a life that's more sustainable and that we're inching towards that dream life that we envision for ourselves.
Not like a tsunami of just like engulfing us.
Right. Because I think it's easy to be like, oh, like I just want to manifest this like 6-figure job where I don't have to work as hard and I don't have to like, I can be remote and I can travel and I can do all these things. But without the action, the manifestation isn't going to see itself through. Like it takes action. It takes like grinding sometimes and getting in the mud to be able to see that manifestation through. It just doesn't come to you like that.
Yeah. And I think in that journey, just knowing where our boundaries are and like still doing our kind of full body check-ins with ourselves is really important to prevent our burnout and maximize our sustainability. Because I think I remember, like, I can't remember if it was this last birthday or the birthday before that. I was like, Olivia, you always do this. Like, you go through this, like, wave.
It was the 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you get this massive spurt of energy and all this stuff. And it's like, and sometimes you need that, like, accountability even from somebody else to be like, hey, you might want to pause and, like, chill. And I think that's going to make us all better. Because you're right. You can't just expect life to do life for you. You still have to be an active participant. But we also need to be mindful of how much the things around us draining us, that we wouldn't even be the life that we're living, experiencing it fully if we don't take care of ourselves. And that is not an endorsement of quit your job, okay? Because like Olivia
we're
said,
not Beyonce.
That is not. We don't knock at the coin like that to be endorsing that. But I am a strong believer in like acknowledging that and even bringing it to your employer sometimes and saying like, or maybe even conversations with yourself if you're a content creator, and saying like, this is what I would like for myself. This is where I'm struggling. And then move on from there.
Yeah, it's easy to set the goals. And I honestly think that you're someone that's really taught me about how to have balance in my life. I don't think that I even like considered the idea of of having like a life, and I guess you say thirds because you kind of look at each part of like the year in thirds and stuff.
Yeah.
And so you were the person that one year to be like, yo, like when you get close to your birthday, you get all this energy and then you go ghost. And given the goals that I have, like that's just not something that like works with the field that I'm trying to get into. So you were the person that like really had me thinking about that. So shout out to you.
Taking advice from the girl who's got 2 jobs, a couple hobbies. Like, dang girl, you might need to check your sources. No, I'm kidding. At the time, I was chill girl. Chill girl.
Yeah.
I'm still chill girl.
You're still chill girl. You make time for the things that you want to.
Yeah, that's still me. Yeah. And I'm really like sticking to that in this season too, of like I need that time of like extended out of the office. So y'all go ahead, if you didn't get your summer out of the office, whether it's a mental health day, whether it's a Friday out of the office early and afternoon, something, take care of yourself. You know, continue to do your full body check-in with yourself and that alignment. And we're hoping that any of y'all girlies who are feeling a little burnt out, start that healing journey, because we got your back.
We got your back, y'all. We love you guys, and we hope that you guys have a great rest of your week.
And we'll catch you next time.
Peace, love, blessings.
Bye, y'all.